Alright, we're going to take a look at some additional Darkwood gameplay. So for this first game, we're going to be playing against the Silence, which with the amount of AoE they have access to can be a tricky deck for us to play against. So let's see, for our mulligan, we want to keep a Spell Shield. We definitely want to keep Tree Speaker. They don't have a lot of early game pressure, so we don't want Essence of the Darkwood. And then Rallying Darkwood you always want, especially in combo with Tree Speaker. So that's a pretty good first hand. We have nothing on 1, but we got some good 2s. And then we have Tree Speaker into Rallying, which is really strong. So we're probably going to avoid the ambushing on 2, just because we don't want to hit their Shadow Puppet and force ourselves to accidentally discard one of our key pieces, especially since they have 3 Shadow Puppets down. So we're just going to kind of be okay taking damage for a little bit. We have some healing if we need access to it in a little while. Almost wondering if it's better. It's probably better to play the healing. I think you gain some life back because you're going to lose 3 here minimum. And then you want a Tree Speaker into Rallying Darkwood. That gets you a very strong board, and then you can kind of build from there. Let's see what their turn 3 looks like. They could shoot this with Drain, in which case we lose the life gain. Okay. So they made us discard the Rallying. That's like the one card we didn't want to lose there. We had a duplicate of Tree Speaker, which should be strong. Okay, we still play the Tree Speaker. Oh man, without the Rallying now, it's a little less impactful. A second Spell Shield is not super great here either. We're going to pass. I think we can probably afford some discards here, so we'll probably block to avoid some of the damage. Okay, we have to get rid of that. So I think we block... Yeah, we block 2 here. We hope we don't lose the ambushing, because that plus Tree Speaker could remove that Blood Siphon. Okay, we kept the ambushing. That is strong. So we can sapling into ambushing, which I think is pretty good, or surging into ambushing. I think we go more wide here, right? So we'll go here into here. We removed the wrong card. That's not what you want. Yeah, I think we have to pass. If they play Shadow Mage, we're very sad. It's a good example of how things can go wrong for this deck. Okay, Drain's okay. We'll lose a card. Oh, we won't even lose a card. That's fine. Okay, so we have a strong board here. Okay, that's a little painful. But we're still looking okay. Yeah, we'll drop this because we're going to free some board space. We'll get some life gain going in 2 turns. Yeah, so the dangerous thing with this deck is overcommitting, which we've definitely done. So I think we need to just go in for damage here. We're out of cards. We got to kind of hope to find something strong off the top. Yeah, they're going to take care of our 4-1, which is okay. Okay, so we get, what, 5 damage across. That's good. We got them down to 13. But again, Shadow Mage comes down, and all of a sudden, we're top decking. Ooh, or that. That's pretty strong, too. We've got a 2-2, and they're back up to 20. Okay, Tree Speaker's good. Normally, I would say hold it, right? So you don't risk losing it on board, but because they run the amount of discard they do, you might as well play it. Yeah, the more controlling decks that have a lot of AoE can be very tough for Darkwoods. You want to try to not overcommit, which is difficult, right? Because you want to build a strong board early and kind of steamroll them. But now we're in a weird spot, right? Where we've definitely overcommitted. We're just top decking and hoping to find something strong. So this may be a good example. We'll see how the game finishes, but this may be a good example of how not to play against the Silence. We may have to do a follow-up game. Yeah, that's devastating. We may have to do a follow-up game on how to actually win this matchup, because it is winnable, but I don't know that we did a good job of it here. Now, they are down to 6, but we're top decking, right? So we just kind of gonna hope to draw into good stuff. They're a couple turns away from getting their... Oh, actually, no, we're there. So they're at the point of the game where they can start getting their horsemen down, and that's just really hard for us to overcome. Thankfully, they don't seem to have much here. They're throwing away some discard stuff. Our hand's empty. That's fine. Okay, so we're gonna take 4 here because we'd rather keep our board. We'll remove their card. Okay, rallying is kind of our way back into this game. We need them to not have AoE and to not have a horseman here. So that's a lot to ask because they've got 10 mana. And there's the horseman. There's the thing we didn't want to see. There's always the chance that we could outlive them because we've got 2 turns left. If we attack with the 8/8, they'll block with the 10/10. But then when they attack, we can block and clear their board, and they only gain 5 life. I think that's the right move. Okay, 2 turns left. They're at 6, we're at 16. They'll gain 5. Oh, that 8/8 is a problem. They'll gain 5 off of this Bloodsucker, but we can remove him, and we'll keep a card. So that puts them to 11. Oh, they didn't gain the life. Okay. Okay, so we just have 1 turn to outrun them, and a bug we just uncovered. That should have gained them 5 life, so we'll get that fixed before the beta. But either way, even if they were at 11, we still would have outrun them here because we were at 16. So, okay, so we definitely overcommitted, but we were able to outlast them. All right, so we want to look for an upgrade here. We were really hoping to find, not these 3, we were hoping to find Tree Speaker or Surging Growth. Those are our 2 best upgrades in the deck. Spell Shield too is a good early roll. We'll do this Darkwood Sapling. All right, so that's game number 1 against the Silence. All right, so for our next game, we're going to look at facing down the Spider archetype. Probably don't need 2 Tree Speakers. The rest of this is pretty good, though. We don't need Spell Shield against spiders. They don't run any form of AoE or removal, for that matter. And yeah, the rest of this is good to start the game. We want to try to find... Yeah, Darkwood Grunt is good. We'd really like to see a Rallying would be a strong turn 4 play. Oh, we're going first. So we'll start with Infested. Gets an Intimidate blocker down. Once he flips, he'll be a 3/3. And really, we're just trying to hold until we get our Tree Speak. Oh, and there's Rallying. Okay, so we have a really strong 2/3/4. Oh, we can actually avoid blocking this. It's only 1 since our Infested flipped, rather. Gave it -1 attack. It's a lot less worrisome, and we've got healing on our turn, so if he attacks, we'll just take the 1. He may not attack, though. Yeah, okay. So our healing didn't do anything. That's fine. We got this Tree Speaker. Okay, so they've started off with a fairly aggressive start, but if we get Rallying down next turn, I think we will be in a much more aggressive position. A lot of times we're not as susceptible to spiders as a lot of decks are, even if they get off to a fast start, just because they don't have AoE, so they're not going to clear our board, and we can go tall faster than they can. So they went wide here, but this Rallying will give all of our creatures +4/+4, and we can kind of just start removing their board pretty easily. Right, so yeah, 7/7, 6/7, and 7/7 without access to AoE or really any form of removal. That's really hard for spiders to deal with. So we turned the corner on this game pretty quick. We'll see. I mean, they could come down with a Queen of Spiders. That would give all of our cards -2 attack, but we could still block Intimidate. So yeah, I think we were just faster. And I think that's actually fairly typical with Darkwood. I think Spiders seems like it could be a scary matchup just because of how aggressive they can play. But a lot of times you can go tall before they go wide enough that it's a problem. So yeah, so we can attack with all of these here. They kind of have to block, and this leaves them without a board. And spiders without a board, unless they're playing for the late game combo finish, are kind of screwed. And with a board like we have right now, they're, even if they were trying to go for the late game combo finish, they're not going to have the longevity. So this was a pretty good victory. All right, yeah, we'll spell shield for style points, even though they don't play anything that does arcane damage, but that's fine. So yeah, we'll get, this might be lethal. If not, it'd be very close. Yeah, that was lethal. Cool. So yeah, so that's the game against spiders. They were fast. We were faster. So let's see, what are our upgrade options? Still nothing great here. We don't really like either of these as upgrades. They just add +1 to the stats, which could be impactful, but isn't great. Essence is good. We go from gain 5 life to gain 10 in matchups where we need to kind of rebuild. This could be useful, so we'll do that as our upgrade. All right, let's give the spider deck another chance. I've got another upgrade or two under their belts, and they're going first this time around. So we do have a pretty good opening hand. We've got 2 saplings. You probably don't want 2. We'll keep 1 sapling, 1 tree speaker, 1 rallying. That's a really powerful 2, 3, 4. If we're able to stick to that. We also have ambushing in case they come off, yep, like that, to a very aggressive start. We have a way to slow them down a little bit, but we also have an infested, which, given their creature's -1 attack, we might be able to just weather a little bit of damage, get that Darkwood sapling down, and kind of prepare to take them. Them having a 2-cost Darkwood means it's very likely ambushing, so we're going to lose a creature, which makes me kind of rethink our play here. Man, do you ever ambushing? I think we might ambushing here. Yeah, I don't think you play... the sapling might have been right. We're not in major trouble here. We are going to lose a creature. Yeah, so we lost the 3/3, so we lost the ability to block their Intimidate, but right now they just have a 1/1 with Intimidate they can attack, so it's not super worrisome. We can take a little bit of damage here. So yeah, they've got that 5/2, which we have a blocker for now. And either way, we have to play Tree Speaker. We may very well take the 5 damage, just so we have more targets for our rallying. We could also sapling into Infested, which would give him +3/+3 and be very strong. We're going to block the 4/4, get the spider off the board. We don't really care about that. We'll take the 5 damage. And that's one of the key things with this deck, right? Is a lot of times you have to know, like, the big differentiator, I feel like, with Darkwood is knowing when to eat the damage, to give you a strong follow-up play. Right, because if I were to have blocked that 5/2, then if I chose to play rallying here, I would only have 1 target. It would just be the Tree Speaker that got the buff, which with the shape of their board, we may still get overwhelmed. I think we can play the rallying here now, though. We get an 8/8 and a 7/7, and we've got good follow-up potential in hand. So let's just use this to get some stuff off their board. Yeah, as I was afraid, we got rid of the 2 not very threatening creatures. So that Arachnid Intimidator is going to grow. He's going to be a 6/3. And they have 2 5/2s with Intimidate. Oh god, and another Intimidator. Okay, they have a strong board. This is a better showing for them than the previous game for sure. I think we block here with the 8/8 and here. Yeah, let's keep our creatures alive. Not particularly strong, but we can attack with them, and they kind of have to block. So it's a good way to get their stuff off the board. And we can still kind of... Okay, this is also very strong. I think we go sapling, ambushing, right? So we take one of theirs off the board, and we swing with these 3, get a good amount of damage in, and clear their board. So they've got 3 cards in hand. I think access to 6 mana, if I'm tracking correctly. Yeah, 6 mana, 4 cards in hand, and we've got a pretty intimidating board. Yeah, a 4/4 and a infested is not what they want here. Oh, this is really strong. We can reset the defense on all of our guys, get them all back to 6. Yeah, and we just swing. This will clear their board. We won't lose anybody, and we'll we'll do lethal. Also, we'll end the game. So, yeah, this Darkwood deck is pretty strong into spiders, believe it or not. All right, let's see what we get for an upgrade this time. Now we're talking. Okay, so Tree Speaker and Rallying are both good upgrades. I think we go Tree Speaker. Getting him down on 2 is just really powerful, and it gives him additional health, so when we are facing down AoE, we're not as susceptible. Alright, we're going to play against the Undead deck next. So an important thing to be aware of is once they have a certain amount of upgrades under their belt, both the Undead deck and the Void deck can be a problem for us. So this is a pretty good starting hand. We'll go Infested, Tree Speaker, Darkwood Grunt. That gives all of our Darkwood enough defense to not be susceptible to their initial round of AoE. And then we have Spell Shield for later AoE, and then we're just going to try to look for a Rallying. And we found one. Okay. So this is pretty good. We'll start with Infested. Pass over to them. So we know that their AoE comes down on turn 4, definitely for Necromaniac, and if they've upgraded Towering Deep One, it's also turn 4, but it's kind of like a guaranteed removal. So we really want the Spell Shield if we may be facing that down. So it's worth keeping in mind. You have to kind of make a bet a little bit, right? Because if they have Towering, then even with Darkwood Grunt, we might get wiped out, right? Because they have 6 creatures in the graveyard, right? So if they play a upgraded Towering next turn, we lose our board. If we Spell Shield, though, are we too far behind? I don't think so. I think the right play is actually to Spell Shield. Play it safe here. Because we played Spell Shield, I think we can actually attack and clear their board out. We'll lose the 3/3. That was... In hindsight, that may have been kind of dumb. I was thinking about them blocking the other way. I don't know why. Okay, so the Rallying is less... Okay, so they did have it. So we lose the... Wow, yeah, we would have lost our entire board. Okay. So they're less likely to have it now. We don't want to play the Rallying, right? Because then we buff one guy. That's not super great. I'm wondering if we need a second Spell Shield. If we Infested Spell Shield, that gives us a 3/3 and a 3/5 that they can't remove, that we can give +4/+4 to next turn. I think that's the play. We don't have another Tree Speaker. We really can't afford to lose him. So the question is, do we attack and remove their 3/3? I think we might want to. Yeah, we still have 2 health. Yep, we're going to do it. Because if we can clear their board, then Rallying becomes really impactful. I mean, it all comes down to what they have this turn, but we've got Anti-Arcane, so we're not worried about AoE. See, there you go. Okay, and that was a upgraded one too, so that'll wipe everything out. Okay, yep, this is a good play now. It'd be really good to have another thing to play alongside it, but the other option is Sapling into Grunt. Oh, then we lose whichever one of these we attack with. Oh, no, we don't. Yeah, okay. Again, if they play Towering, we're really sad. But I think we go this route. Yeah, so we're very susceptible to AoE this turn. But if they don't have it, we have an incredible board with rallying next turn, so this is a bit of a gamble. Oh, they had it. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, so this is not what you want. The undead deck, especially this iteration, runs a lot of AoE and can be very dangerous to us in that regard. But we'll do this and just kind of hope for the best, right? We've got a 7/9 and a 6/6. We're not at their Cthulhu turn yet. They've got 3 more turns. Single target removal is tough. Man, that deck runs a lot of removal. It's a very strong control deck. And we're basically out of cards, and they're starting to go wide. Yeah, so this is why we're susceptible to this deck. This is kind of what I was talking about. Yeah, we'll take these 2 off the board, and we kind of just have to trust in the heart of the cards. We got to draw something good off the top. We can Essence, so we've got a lot of life gain. Sapling's good, not great. So we want to make these a turn apart, right? Because you want to gain 10, and then the following turn gain 10. So anything short of Cthulhu, we're not really worried about. Oh yeah, there's okay, and they're gaining more life. Yeah, this is not looking good. Yeah, I think we just take the 6. We'll gain 10 twice for the next 2 turns, so we can take quite a bit of damage. We just need a good top deck. That's kind of all we can hope for at this point. That's not bad. It's not good either, though. I think this game might be lost, but we'll see. They have 1/9. They could technically have an upgraded Cthulhu. Okay, they don't, thank god. They can still have AoE that wipes our board. That's not AoE. Okay, so we'll take 6 here, we'll go to 3, but then we'll gain 10. We'll remove one of their cards with their ambushing. We'll buff this 2/2 to a 5/5. Problem is, it's just not enough, right? If we attack with these 2, we just lose both of them. Yeah, I think we just have to pass and hope. If they have a Cthulhu here, which is very likely, we're just screwed. I think we actually lose on the spot. Yeah, they had it. Yeah, so, yep, we lose on the spot. Okay, so that is a good example of how the undead deck can kind of wreck you. There were some, I'd have to go back and look, there were some plays I think we may have overcommitted a little bit. In that matchup, in a very AoE heavy matchup, you're almost better off trying to bait some of their removal, right? And play 1 or 2 cards and keep a whole bunch in hand. But it's not an easy decision. We definitely want gold. Gaining that extra 2 mana, especially the first couple turns of the game, that gives you the ability to kind of overwhelm, which is really what you want to try to do, especially in those games where you know if you get to late game, you're probably going to lose.